Fire. It's such a powerful symbol with deep symbolic and archetypal meanings across cultures, religions, and even psychology. It's an irreducible and elemental sign of transformation. Fire changes everything it touches. Wood turns to ash, metal to liquid. It symbolizes profound change, destruction, and rebirth. It burns away impurities, cleansing, renewing, used in metaphors for spiritual purification. It is the harbinger of destructive chaos and war, sometimes even representing death itself, but also rebirth, like the phoenix myth, burning into ashes and rising anew. Fire is a cycle of endings and beginnings. The flame is also associated with the Greek titan Prometheus, taking pity on mankind for suffering in darkness and ignorance under an oppressive Zeus. He stole flame, which here was seen as technology and enlightenment, forward progress. Prometheus then gave mankind this forbidden knowledge. Though Zeus was not finished, he would have his revenge. He chained Prometheus to a rock, sentenced him to an eternity of torture. As for mankind, Zeus would punish them in a different way. He created the first woman that he would send to Earth, Pandora. He also gave her a box containing all chaos and calamity, and when she opened it, she brought disease, war, and death upon the earth. But beyond myth, fire and flame are absolutely connected to the transmission of knowledge, especially ancient knowledge. Long before there was written word, the indigenous tribes and peoples crowded around the fire at night for warmth and light. This is where they told their stories, endlessly, over generations. It's a tradition that we carry on to this day. We tell stories around the campfire. It's why I chose the fire as one of the symbols for my channel, and one of the reasons I started this channel in the first place, to be honest. There's something deeply captivating about a group of people in the dark gathering around a campfire and conveying information, telling stories. It's in our DNA. But when I started out a few years ago, I had been studying a lot of symbols, things about the occult that were right in plain sight, placed in front of us in all kinds of different ways. And I felt the need to try to expose this stuff. Don't get me wrong, I love symbols. I love studying them, and they're just awesome to look at and to dissect the meanings and the shapes and the history of what they mean. But I've noticed that the world at large typically has an over-reliance on symbols. There's a dogma attached to them. I didn't make a video about the Pope, but if you've been reading the news, if you haven't been hiding under a rock, the Pope has just passed away. And I watched some of the footage from the funeral, and it's just disturbing to me because of the extravagance of all the symbols and the trinkets. And at one point, I think that his body was carried out in this elaborate coffin type of thing, but it was also being carried on the backs of servants or something. It's just the reverence and the over-reliance on everything that this man, which he is only a man, he's called the Vicar of Christ, which is, it's sort of the old school title of the Pope, and he's a representative of Christ on earth, and he is this man adorned in gold and robes and just worshipped like as if he was God himself, which is just, no offense if you're Catholic, but it's just completely, it's the antithesis of true Christianity, in my opinion. And I just don't get me wrong, there's tons of stuff wrong with Protestantism, and believe me, I've been in plenty of churches where I could go on and on and on about the Protestant side of things, but the things that the Catholics do sometimes could be, just because we're discussing symbols, is just this over-reliance on the symbols themselves. Now, as somebody who loves symbols, one flaw I've noticed in myself is that sometimes there is, it's reflected out in the world as well, that there's this over-reliance on the symbols. The symbols themselves are supposed to point to something higher, something transcendent. That should be the thing that you're chasing. And the symbol itself is only a placeholder. It should not be the object of your worship, the object of your dedication and admiration. And if you can make that distinction, good on you. Go crazy. You can surround yourself with them if you want, but you have to know that there's a distinction, and not everyone can make that distinction, especially people in power. What do they use them for? Do you think that they don't want people to, they love that people are over-reliant on them. It gives them a sense of power. They're the holders of these emblems and symbols and idols. And it just makes me uncomfortable. It makes me angry a lot of times, if I'm going to be honest. So now we can get conspiratorial also about the Catholic Church and talk about the immense amount of power that they have. Financial power, influence. They have their tentacles in everything all over the earth. And they have helped colonize other countries. They are just, to me, they're a continuation of the Roman Empire. I mean, it's the Roman Catholic Church. It's history repeating itself, continuing from those days of having, an emperor, someone who rules. Absolutely. It's the same thing, except only now they're doing it from behind a veil. I'm not going to get bogged down in detail in this video specifically, but I kind of wanted to put it out there. Why, kind of what I'm getting at is that we can do these symbolic breakdowns. I'm going to continue to do that and just point this stuff out. But it almost feels like hypocrisy sometimes to kind of delve into that realm, and you're outmatched a lot of times, because not only is the, like, if we want to get conspiratorial, we can, or go that route there. Look at the sheer amount of YouTube channels, TikTok channels that have, I mean, a lot of them are using AI to do it, and they can produce 10 times what a normal human could produce. It's very generic, and a lot of times you can pick it out, but like, there's so much crap. They can just put something in a chat GPT, copy and paste it into a voice generator, and then and even have an AI put visuals on top of it. It's insane. And they do the transitions and everything. It does all your editing. It's just insane. And I'm not going to lie, it's been pretty frustrating to watch that happen, because now that my channel is sort of out there and I'm kind of getting a tiny following, it's just insanely frustrating to just see how, like, the timing of this has happened. Now anybody and everybody can create channels on this subject matter, and they are doing it, and it's just disheartening. It's very hard to take this in, and sometimes to stay motivated and to keep doing this stuff. But I do this, I want to entertain you guys. I want to, I guess what I want to get out there is that's what I want to keep, that human element. It's very important that we have that sense. I want to create a sense of community with you guys, and I want you guys to feel like you're with me, hanging out or around a fire, whatever, however you want to visualize it. And I'm giving you some information. And I'm doing it because, bottom line, I want to show you something that you did not know before, or give it to you from a certain angle, or do it in such an entertaining way that you rethink what you thought before. To show you something new, and to not necessarily, maybe the information itself isn't new, but maybe just something different, and bottom line, to entertain you with it. And hopefully I'm doing that. But just to keep you guys in the loop, I've made some big decisions. I may make a video about it later and go into more detail, but I've kind of made this my priority, and it's gonna take time, and I'm building some things, but rest assured there's a lot more coming for this channel. But for those of you who are prayers, maybe say a prayer for me, because there's a lot of work that I got to do going forward, and I'm probably going to need all the help I can get. So thank you for hanging out with me for a little bit. And for those of you who haven't been to the channel or haven't heard from me in a while, there's tons of stuff that I've just put out in the last couple months. So give the channel page a visit and check out some of that stuff. There's tons of stuff on there. So thanks. I will see you all in the next one.